I'm David Horowitz. It's hard to believe that while I'm dialing my credit card number into this telephone, there is someone on that balcony taking my credit card number down so that he can sell it. Telephone fraud is a billion-dollar-a-year business in this country, but it all starts small on street corners like this across the United States. This is the dialing dance of the phone scam artist. For $10 or $20, he will place a long-distance call anywhere in the world using a stolen number. Usually, the longer the person talks, the more he or she pays. It's a bargain compared to the regular price. Why? Because the call is being charged to someone else's account. For Andy Yema, it added an extra $14,000 to his corporate telephone credit card.
It was kind of unnerving to think that, somebody could have stolen your number and racked up this kind of bill in 1 month.
Telephone rip-off artists are becoming very creative. They'll stand on a balcony like this with high-power binoculars or video cameras. They'll watch the people making calls below. They will note the numbers off the credit card or the number they're dialing in the phone. Then later they will copy them down and sell them. Even if a policeman catches one in the act with someone else's calling card number on a piece of paper, according to the way the law is written, that's not enough to get a conviction.
If you arrest somebody holding on to a number that's your number on a card, right, on a napkin, that's not a crime. Right? It's not possession of stolen property because New York law says property has to be tangible. Right? What's tangible is the napkin, and that's not stolen.
This is not legal, man.
What do you mean it's not legal? You're not getting in trouble doing this?
No, you can't.
I went undercover in New York City, and I'll show you what our hidden cameras saw after this break. What?
What's in there? Record us on?
What you are about to see and hear are street scammers selling stolen credit card numbers at a payphone in Midtown Manhattan.
Yeah, calling card numbers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's no big secret. Almost everyone on the street knows where to find these calling card con artists. What do you got to do? Just tell them.
Say, who's got credit card? Guarantee it, they'll tell you.
Okay. All right.
There'll be 3 or 4. They may even attack you before you get there.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. My informant was right. Just around the corner, in plain view, my cameraman and I found someone with a stolen number who would place calls to Tokyo and London for us. What's going to cost us? Eventually, we talk money. $10? Is $10 too much, Kim?
I think that's good.
But how long you got to talk for?
Yo, it doesn't matter. It's a cost.
We can stay as long as we
As long
want.
as you want and read that.
Once we agreed on a price, he took us to a phone booth across the street, but made sure the deal went down on his terms. I want to call London first.
I want to call Tokyo.
All right, you want to call Tokyo? It's this one. How does this work? How do you get through to the number like that?
Mister, that's none of your business. What's your business is, I'll do you what you want, you pay me my money.
I'd like to have that system. I like it. But before he got a chance to tell me, another number seller showed up, trying to steal the number that our contact ripped off from someone else. What are we going to do? Here's where the numbers game gets dangerous.
I don't want to deal with you, man. You know what I'm saying? I got my own shit. You don't give me none of your shit.
All right, so where are we going?
As soon as you leave, man, if I want to clock my number.
All right. You mean he's going to cop your number?
Yeah, just stay right here. Clock it.
Now that our contact was on edge, he grew suspicious about the bag I had on my shoulder. Whose number is this, though? I mean,
Listen.
what?
What's in there? Record us on?
Luckily, he didn't feel the camera, but he obviously didn't want anyone threatening his territory. Not another rip-off artist, and certainly not me.
Well, you ask me all these questions.
Well, because
Don't ask me a lot of
I
questions.
won't ask you nothing. I just want to make my call. We followed him down to the subway. As we were making the illegal call, police walked right past us with a line of suspects they just arrested, paying no attention to what we were doing. Our calling card thief finally showed us how to use the numbers he gave us.
Only MCI, that's what I told you to take you
Only
to the hotel.
MCI?
Go to the hotel. All the phones in the hotel are MCI. Your vote control is quiet.
So,
Look,
all right. How do I do it?
10222.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh.
The operator come on, you give her your number, and you give her this number.
Okay.
See, man, this is not legal, man.
What do you mean it's not legal? You're not getting in trouble doing this?
No, you can't.
About 15 minutes later, this scam artist sold me 4 calling card numbers for $60. I tried it out on a call to London from a subway station near New York's Port Authority bus terminal to see if it worked.
Wait till I say hey. Okay, then.
You did it. People at MCI and AT&T helped me trace the number back to phones at George and Mattie Meyerson's in Woodcliff Lake, New Jersey.
At first, I didn't put 2 and 2 together. And then I realized that about 3 days before, I had been in Port Authority and I had used the card and made a call from Port Authority to my parents' house.
And it's not the first time. A few years ago, $50 worth of calls to England showed up on one of their monthly bills. When they called to complain, AT&T picked up the tab. This time, they didn't wait to get a bill. They canceled the number immediately after we called. While phone companies scrambled to put an end to this international scam, security experts say common sense is your best protection. Cover your telephone calling card and your fingers when dialing the number because you never know who could be looking over your shoulder. Fortune teller can convince some people that they can predict the future. But for those who go to a fortune teller for anything more than amusement, they could be setting themselves up for an expensive experience, as we found out in Los Angeles. The TV magazine has ads like this one. A fortune teller who wants to help those who are looking for a little lift in their lives. That's a temptation for our victim, Teresa. Teresa is not her real name. She must remain unknown to protect her from possible harm. Her story, though, is typical of hundreds of other fortune teller victims.
I guess we were having a lot of trouble, in our marriage. And he figured that, I'd heard it from other people, and he figured that maybe she would help us. She wanted $200 from me, and she wanted $200 from my husband, just $400. I didn't have the money, so she fixed it up to where I would work for her.
After several visits, Teresa became suspicious that she and her husband had been taken. So she called the police.
I received a phone call from this lady, and she had lost not so much a great amount of money to a fortune teller, but days of service. And to me, that was enough to take some action against this particular fortune teller, and we did so. We set up a sting operation, so to speak, where we send her back to the fortune teller. We monitor the conversation to achieve some corroboration to the crime that had happened.
A portable microphone or wire was put on Teresa. What you will hear is the actual police recording of the conversation between Teresa and the fortune teller.
Do you know who it is who's doing this stuff to us?
I don't have the names on it yet, but I've seen pictures. I've seen pictures through a microscope.
You seen through a microscope? Where did you see them at?
Where I work.
Where you work?
In the mountains.
Where you work in the mountains?
I can see when they can go and do something wrong for you. I can see it. Do you understand what they're saying? Okay.
And you can take all of that away from us.
Yeah. So I'm doing the very best I can. Now you gotta do the best you can. Can you give me 2 days a week? Working for me?
For working for you? I imagine I can.
You want to work for me tomorrow?
Well, it depends if how I feel.
So a little work won't hurt you. It should be good for you. Do you understand?
So how much money do we owe you? Yet I forgot.
What is your number?
16.
16. I think you owe 55.
And then I'm paid off with the 200.
He owes 40. Balance 40.
40.
And your balance is 55.
55.
Based on evidence from Teresa's undercover taped conversations, the fortune teller was arrested and put out of business.
This lady happened to be very brave and courageous and took it upon herself to go ahead and help the police, while at the same time trying to prevent the losses that she has suffered from being suffered by someone else.
I'm pleased to report that beside the fact that the fortune teller was put out of business, Teresa and her husband did get all their money back. But there are many more of those people out there waiting to take your money. Be aware, they are sharp operators, and you'd be surprised how many intelligent people get taken. Next, we'll demonstrate a device that could prevent you from being the victim of an attack, and also mark the attacker so police can spot him. There are a lot of self-defense devices on the market, and we've tested just about all of them. We tried mace on a police volunteer, and you can see how it stopped him. The one problem with mace is that the attacker can take it away from the victim and use it on him. There's a new product on the market that claims it will not only fight off an attacker, but make it easy for police to identify him. It's called Die Witness, and it sells for about $40. The canister fires a 70-pound blast of green dye which foams over the attacker's face so he can't see. It also leaves stains that the makers claim will last up to 7 days for easy identification. John Cochran volunteered to give us a live demonstration. His wife, Cheryl, was the potential victim. John volunteered for the test because he's a Die Witness distributor. He has never done this before. Let's take a look at that again in slow motion. Now describe what happened when you were hit with this stuff.
Even though I knew it was coming, it was more than I expected. It hit me right across the eyes, it foamed up, I couldn't see.
What was the sensation that you had?
A burning sensation, really scared me, is what it did. It surprised me. It was more than I expected it to be.
Now, if you had to run after someone when this stuff hit you, what would have been your initial reaction?
There's no way I'd be running after someone. I'd be running away from someone. Because I couldn't see basically for the first 30 seconds, 45 seconds, and right now I've got it up my nose, in my mouth. My main concern is not chasing someone, it's getting away right now.
The first thing a person sprayed with Die Witness would probably do is try to wash it off. It was a mess. Not only does it mark the attacker for easier identification, but the dye leaves a trail for the police to follow. The jury is still out on whether Die Witness is effective. The elderly are victimized more than any other group. They are often uninformed, trusting, and very vulnerable. But in this case, an aware senior citizen spotted a scam and helped police arrest the scamsters. It started very innocently at a store in Hawthorne, California. Mrs. Clara Santiago, age 71, had just finished her breakfast and had started home.
I had had breakfast at Kresge's, and I came out and got in the car and backed it up and started to leave the parking lot when the girl came from the corner. She was kind of running, and she had a briefcase and a package, and she was waving me down, and when she got to the car, I rolled my window down, and she wanted to know if I was familiar with this area, and I told her no, and I live someplace else. And she said, well, she had found this package on the bench for the bus stops and wanted to know what to do with it. And I said, well, why don't you give it to the police? And she said, well, she was late for work, and would I come with her to a phone so she could call her boss and tell him why she was late, and I could verify it, and then she wouldn't get bawled out. So I said, okay. And so I took her to a phone booth down by Foster Freeze. We were going by, and there it was, and we just stopped. And so she called her boss, and she talked to him, and then I talked to him, and I told her, yes, she had had the package and what had happened. And he said, well, open the package together. So we opened the package, which came open easily, and there was all this money with a little blue note on top. And the note said that there was $84,000 for guns and clothing, and there would be some more on the way.
On the phone, her boss told them to bring the package to him at the bank. He would examine it and try to find out who it belonged to, or decide what must be done with it.
I was to stay in the car. Not that I minded staying in the car, but I thought, why? Why wouldn't I go along with her with all that money? But it did make me suspicious. And then the fact that if he worked only down the street, why would she be late? And what was she doing getting off of a bus here or whatever to find that package?
When the lady returned, she told Clara her boss told them to go somewhere and relax, and he would figure it all out.
So we came over here to La Fiesta and went in, and I had coffee. She had a salad. And then in an hour she called him, and he said, well, that there was that much money in there, and if in 30, 60, or 90 days that no one claimed it, or that it would be divided between this girl and I. And then he said that, did I have the money to show $13,000, I understood it to be $13,000 to live on between now and in 90 days.
Now that was the tip-off to the rip-off, the mention of money up front. What happens now is the pigeon, in this case Mrs. Santiago, is asked to bring in her money to prove she has it. It is put in a bag or envelope like this one, and while the victim is distracted, the package is switched with a look-alike that contains nothing but paper. The scamsters take off with the real money, leaving Clara Santiago literally holding a paper bag. But Mrs. Santiago did the unexpected. She called the police.
Well, the police asked me if I would like to help, and I said yes.
Following police instructions, Clara returned to the same parking lot where it all began.
Well, I drove into the Shell station up to the phone booth, and then I talked to her, and she walked back to the phone booth, and there wasn't anybody there that I could see or recognize, and suddenly here they were. Police came from everywhere.
So 71-year-old Clara Santiago fought back, and the rip-off artists were caught. Why did she do it?
I was doing something, you know. I had been staying at home and a little bit, and it was action. You know, life can get a little, not exactly dull, but you're wishing something would happen, so something did, and I went along with it.
We certainly do not recommend getting so directly involved. Let the police handle it. We do want to thank Clara Santiago for her heroic efforts in exposing this scam for you to see and learn from. You could be a victim, and we're going to try to prevent that from happening in upcoming episodes of Fight Back. Swindles of all kinds are the most common crime in America today, and there isn't one of us who has not been in danger of being conned, scammed, or ripped off. With our hidden camera, we will take you behind the scenes to see how these con artists work and show you how to protect yourself. We also need your help. If you come across something that you think is a con, scam, or ripoff, let us know about it. Here's where to write. Fight Back, Burbank, California, 91523. And remember, when you're in doubt, always check it out. Stay aware and informed, and fight back, and don't let anyone rip you off.
The Ford Motor Company has furnished the four-wheel drive Explorer to help with our production transportation. The Fight Back Emergency Kit now includes a Maglite flashlight. The next time you need a flashlight, will yours work? Maglite flashlights, a work of art that works.